Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Thanks so much for tuning in. So today's video is going to be the long-awaited domestic violence relationship. It's really hard to make this video though because it's very long, so I have to I guess I have to summarize it, but it's like a series of events. So much stuff happens. It's years of stuff happening. It's like a never-ending thing. So I'm gonna try to summarize it as much as I can and make it as short as I can. But just a disclaimer, I will not be using names. I will not be saying nothing. I'm pretty sure a lot of you already know who I'm talking about because I'm from Riverside. We all know each other, and yeah. But I'm not gonna be saying names. I'm not gonna be mentioning nothing that I shouldn't be mentioning because I'm a changed woman and we don't have time for that. So let's get started. So like I said, I'm gonna try to summarize it because I don't wanna really get. I said I'm gonna be as honest as I could be. So maybe I do need to give a lot of detail. I could give detail. It's okay to give detail. Okay. So I, growing up, did not see domestic violence. Me growing up, I did not, let's see, let me adjust my lighting because I don't think I like this one. No, yes, this is better. Okay, so growing up, I did not see domestic violence in my household. My mother always worked. She always provided for us, so did my dad. And things happened, and yeah. But I never once saw domestic violence in my household, okay? I never once heard a man call a woman out of her name growing up. There's a lot of things that growing up I didn't see, that I didn't experience until my relationship, the domestic violence one. Senior year, I got with someone, and all of senior year, everything was butterflies and beautiful and blah, blah, blah. There was red flags, but obviously I didn't pay attention to them because I was stupid and I thought, oh my God, I'm so in love. And a lot of, now that I look back, there was a lot of red flags where I should have just been like, okay, this is it, we gotta go. And I didn't. So it lasted all the senior year. Then summertime, we graduated. I decided to put an end to it, so it ended. Then we got back together. And when we got back together, the violence started when I was literally in the hospital giving birth to my daughter. Actually, I'm lying. The violence started when we first moved in and I was literally 5 months pregnant. This person grabbed my phone because supposedly I was texting somebody, grabbed my phone and grabbed me and threw me on the floor. I have never spoken about this to anybody. Nobody knows these details except for myself. And I'm only doing it because I like using my story as to empower other women and to know that you need to get the hell out of that nasty relationship you're in and move the hell on. Because there's better out there and you deserve way better. You do not get stuck there. You do not have to settle. You do not have to put up with no one's BS. You do not have to wait for someone to grow up. You do not have to wait for nothing. You deserve better. You need to move on. Life goes on. Those men never change and will never change, okay? So you need to get it together, get up and leave. Who cares if you have kids? You could be a very strong, independent woman. And to me, that is what helped me. To me, I can always say, you know what, I got up and I left finally because my baby was growing and she was not about to grow up seeing a man put his hands on her and for her to think that that cycle is okay to live in. Definitely not. And I feel like a lot of women stay in relationships where men abuse them, and I do not understand why. I don't care if you pay my bills. I don't care if you don't cheat on me. I don't care, no, I don't care if you treat me like I'm the freaking bombest piece of meat in this world. What my kids see at home is what matters to me. How you treat me, how my daughters, I have 3 daughters. What they see at home is what's important to me, because I know that they're going to use this as an example of how they should be treated and what to expect in the relationship. So now back to the whole throw me on the floor. I was thrown on the floor and I was pregnant with my first child. I ended up having to go to urgent care because I was in preterm labor. They had to give me a steroid shot to stop my contractions. They monitored me and they sent me home. You wanna know how retarded, how dumb I was? I did not know that I was in preterm labor until this last pregnancy with my baby, that I went back and I read my records. The damage that abusive relationships do to your head is insane. So I went home, blah, blah, blah. The thing that I look back on now and I'm like, what the hell, how did this happen? Like, we would fight one day and the next day was like nothing. That's how messed up in my head we both were. The next day was nothing happened and we're back at it, and by the end of the night we're back at fighting. That's how it was. So I stayed with the person my whole pregnancy. The day that I gave birth, he went home. He found notebooks from high school that I would write my best friend, and he read them and he got upset. So I got home. We got discharged from the hospital. I got home, we ate. Then he comes and grabs me by my hair and throws me on the floor because according to him, I was cheating on him. I was cheating and I had just given birth, okay? So that happened. Then again, I forgave him, blah, blah, blah. Then the relationship continued like that for a year or so. Everyone told us to break up. Everyone told us that we should not be together. My mom, his sisters, everybody. But I think that you're just so in that cycle that you don't get it. Me, I would be like, oh my God, I love him, I have to stay, I love him, blah, 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 blah. I was really dumb. I wasted years. But you know what? Everything happens for a reason. And trust me when I say God has a plan, God has a plan. Because look at me now, honey. I have 3 kids. I'm a married woman. My husband treats me very well. He's a provider. And I'm living my best life. I'm at peace with myself. I love myself. And I honestly never, when I left that relationship, I never saw myself loving anybody again. I never saw myself married. I never saw myself, I never wanted to have kids again. Ever, ever, ever. I never wanted to be married. In my head, I was gonna be a strong single mother to my daughter, and I was gonna kick butt, and I was gonna be good by myself. But like I said, God's plan, God has different plans. The relationship was toxic in the sense that it was, look, when I say I was in an abusive relationship, I don't just mean like he slapped me or I slapped him. I mean, like, let me just put it this way. One time, like I said, let me remind you guys, it's kind of hard to talk about it because I've never spoken about this to anybody in detail as to what happened, but I got knocked out one day by him in front of his cousins. Knocked out, okay? I got knocked out. That was one fight. I continued to stay, and then I stayed. I still stayed. I got knocked out. Then I would get dragged by my hair all the time. I would get smacked, punched. I apologize if these are very graphic details, but this is my testimony and no one's gonna make me be quiet and no one's gonna make me not speak about it. I'm gonna speak about it. He one time got on top of me, put a pillow over my face, and told me that he was gonna kill me, okay? My thing that I'm speaking about this is because I fought through that. I made it through that. I had the will to get up and leave. I had the strength to say, you know what, bye. I'm not exaggerating. These are real, true stories. Everyone always tells me when they see me, they meet me, like, oh, you're so happy. You're so funny. You're like the life of the party. yeah, and now that I think about it, I think I used that as a coping mechanism to get through what I was going through. And when I said in the other video that it took me years to get through it, it did, because that relationship was starting to take an effect in my marriage. Well, before we got married, you know, because we were dating for 5 years, then we got married. But you do not let that control you. Look, you walked away from that, and that cannot control your life. You gotta keep going. Leave that in the past. That's in the past. You're in a new place in your life. Thank God that you're in that good place. Thank God that you're there. And you know what I used to be really upset about was that this person had, after all this happened to me, after he did all this to me, after I almost died, after he threatened to kill me, after he would do psycho stuff, show up at my house, I had to put a restraining order. After all this, I get a phone call that he had an accident and he died and they brought him back to life. Y ahí fue como retard a llevarle a la niña. Dude, when do we learn? And that I used to beat myself up for all the time. Like, dude, like I hate myself. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? But that's, I saw the good in it. That's the type of person that I am. I have a big heart. I love to love. I love it. I love to be affectionate. I love to show someone how much I love them and I appreciate them. I love to let you know how I feel about you every day. Like, I just love love. I love it. And for some reason, I have a big heart and I just cannot ever be rude or like the B word to people who've hurt me. I don't know why, but that was my mistake. And now I know my boundaries. And now I know that I don't need to take your crap and that I don't need to be there for you to know that I forgive you for what you did to me. After all this happened, we went years without talking, but he still would keep in contact with my daughter. Then, I don't know, like I said, God has his ways of, you know, showing things. We don't keep in contact, but my daughter is involved with his family occasionally. And I just always thank God that I'm able to just not be petty and bitter, because it took me, this year will be 7 years, 7 years to speak up about this. It took me 7 years to finally talk about this. I remember when he used to beat me and tell me you will never be nobody. Look where I'm at now. I'm somebody to my kids. I'm a mother. My children love me. I'm a wife. I'm somebody, okay? And that always stuck to me and that always stayed in the back of my head. You will never be nobody. I have a pretty darn good job, okay? I'm somebody. That stuck with me. And like I said, it was not easy to move on and be happy in the new relationship and all that stuff. But a lot of things that I used to do in that relationship, I made sure to not do in this one. And I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have a marriage. I'm blessed to be able to look back at that and be like, I survived that. I went through that. And it's good. I look at it like it was good that I went through it because I was young and now I'm a grown, mature woman. And I'm never going to have to go through that again because I will never put up with that. I know my worth. I know I already went through the whole phase of getting beat up and then saying I love you the next day and pretending everything's okay for the baby. I will never do that again. I will never settle for that again. A man will never change unless he wants to. Or a woman, anybody. You won't change until you have it in you to want to change or be a better person. And I remember once I finally left him, I devoted myself to church. I'm not gonna lie, it was the most depressing time of my life. I was a twig. I wouldn't eat. I would cry. I would freaking want to barf. I thought the world was gonna end, but I would take my butt to church and I would cry and I would praise God and I would ask God, take this away. Please do not let me go back to that place. Please let me take my daughter out of there. And girl, let me tell you, I struggled. There was times that I've always worked, like I said, I had a job and everything. There was times that I didn't even have money to buy wipes. And I'm a very prideful person, So I used to be embarrassed to even ask my mom or my dad for anything, even though that they were there for me. They're the ones that have always been there for me. My mom, my dad, and my brothers. I can always count on them no matter what. I saw dark times, but then slowly with time, things started getting better, and I just thank God that I left. I thank Him every day before bed when I pray for my children that I left. I pray every night for my children, for my husband, for my mom, for my brothers, for my dad, for my mother-in-law, and for my brothers and sisters-in-law. And yeah, this is something that I think that is important to be talked about, and that people should know, not because I want you to be nosy about my life, but I just feel like a lot of times people assume that, oh, you don't know what you're talking about when you try to help, like, not give advice, because that's what I learned. I don't give advice. I'll give you my opinion, and then I'll tell you, I'm just letting you know how I feel. A lot of people judge you and think that they look at you and they're like, oh no, you wouldn't know about this, or you're too young. You're too young. You don't have no idea what you're talking about. Trust me, I've been through it. There was a point in time where my dumb self got up and left and moved to Bakersfield with him. We would fight in the highway. There's roads, highway roads, okay? We would fight. I would open the door, get out of the car with my daughter, and roam around on the highway. What was wrong with me, dude? Like, I literally have to thank God that I'm still here. That's how disgustingly toxic we were for each other. Or sometimes he would just leave me at a gas station and I would be crying and begging him to take me back, and there he comes to take me back, and there I go to repeat the same freaking cycle. It's ridiculous and disgusting how much abuse could hurt you. And you know, when I got my diagnostic yesterday, I was upset when they told me that I had PTSD. I was very upset, I'm not gonna lie. Because I felt like, in a sense, it had control over me. That person still had control over me. You know what I mean? Because he's the one who caused it. But I prayed. I took a few hours to myself and I let it go. And I'm good. I'm good. I'm gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be okay. I'm a survivor. You could be a survivor too. Get up and leave. And you know what's sad? It's always the people that look the happiest that have been through the most worst stuff ever. This is just part of what I've went through. I've gone through other crazy stuff in my childhood, and my senior year, something happened my senior year as well. And I don't really know if I want to talk about that. I don't think that's very necessary. I don't think so. But like, there's a lot of traumatic stuff that happens in your life, and I feel that it's important that us women, we get help, and we talk and we let it out, because you need to get that burden off of you. Like, let it go. Just be a new person, you know? Like, it helps a lot to talk about it. It helps a lot to not be ashamed of what you've gone through, not be ashamed of the type of man that you chose, you know? Like, we all make mistakes, and like I said, for us women that have daughters, I think it's very important to leave the first sign you get of this, because it's only going to get worse. Let me tell you, if someone calls you the B word, it's going to get worse. If someone throws something at you, it's going to get worse. It takes a lot to find someone that's going to abuse you and then stop abusing you. Like, you got to go to church and dedicate your life to the Lord to be able to be saved and be a changed man like that, because it's not going to happen. So many times I believed it and it didn't happen. And yeah, I'm not going to give an update about the person. I'm not going to talk about anything else that has to do with it. I'm doing this as like, I'm going to leave this in the past now. Like, I will never speak about this anymore, because now it's out in the world. Now everyone gets to hear it, and I just hope that this helps somebody just get up and leave and see that there's always better, and that you will always find better, but that it's a process. It's not going to happen right away. You're not going to be happy tomorrow. You're not going to be happy by the end of tonight. No, you got to work on yourself. You got to learn to love yourself. You got to learn to be patient with yourself. For me, what I learned is that I have to feel my emotions. I don't block them off anymore. If I'm mad, I'm mad. If I'm sad, I'm sad. If I want to cry, I'm going to cry. If I'm happy, I'm going to be happy. If I want to be clingy, I'm going to be clingy. Like, I feel my emotions now. I don't block them off. If I want to hug my children and tell them I love them every second of the day, I do it. If I want to kiss them, I do it. We're from a culture where, sadly, you know, your parents don't show you lots of love, but you know that they love you. It's in our hands to break that cycle, and trust and believe, I'm breaking it. Because you could ask my daughters how many times a day I kiss them, and you could ask them how many times a day I tell them I love them and that I will always love them, and I always will tell them that until I'm a granny. But yeah, just remember, love yourself. Think of your children before you think of yourself. Think of your kids. Picture your daughter going through what you're going through. And then think, holy crap, do I want her to think that this is okay? Think of that in everything, in the way you eat, the way you dress, the way you carry yourself. Like, you know, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I've changed a lot and I've done a lot of growing. But yeah, you have to think of your kids first and do what's best for them. If you guys have any questions or want to give me any I would say like stories about what you've gone through and want to hear what I think or stuff like that, just let me know. Like I said in the last video, I'm always here. I will always be here. I like doing this. I like talking and letting it all out. I hope that you guys have a good day, and I hope that I didn't trigger anything, and if I did, I apologize. But I hope that you guys appreciate how honest and open I am about my struggles, because like I said, I have never spoken about this to anybody. My husband doesn't even know these graphic details, okay? But it's just time. It's time that I put it out there, and I'm a living proof that things get better, and you get up and you walk away and you make the best out of it. Bust your butt off until you get to where you want to be and get what you want. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a giveaway when I hit the 100 subscribers. Make sure to give it a like, and yeah, have a good rest of your day. Bye bye.